Curlin's owner, Jess Jackson, is indeed a sportsman, kept the horse in training as a 4-year-old, but he is not swayed by public opinion. Remember that internet poll where he asked the public, what should Curlin do next? Well, Jay Privman, those plans have changed, haven't they?
They certainly have, Joe. Earlier this week, Jess Jackson, in a wide-ranging press conference, first announced that Curlin would make his next start on August 30th in the Woodward Stakes at Saratoga. Now, Saratoga is where Curlin has been training ever since his second-place finish in the Man o' War. That was his first race on turf, but it's back to the dirt for Curlin for his next start. The other interesting things, though, that came out of that press conference were what's going to happen with Curlin the rest of 2008. And Jess Jackson said the races that he was looking at most notably were the Jockey Club Gold Cup, which Curlin won last year, and he also mentioned the Japan Cup Dirt, which is in November. But when asked about the Breeders' Cup Classic, which Curlin won last year to secure Horse of the Year, he said he was less inclined to do that, and he specifically cited the synthetic surface that's going in at Santa Anita. He said, why would I want to test Curlin on an untested surface? Joe?
All right, so this is very interesting because now we get a real strong lean towards Curlin not being in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Do you believe it's because of him wanting, Jess Jackson, the owner, wanting to go after those big, lofty international goals that he set forth? Or can we blame the synthetic surface, that the Breeders' Cup being on synthetic is why we're losing Curlin?
I don't know if you can blame it or not, but I do think the grass race was a test to see if Curlin would perform well on something other than dirt. Grass race and synthetic has often been very, very close in how a horse performs on one or the other.
It's really a shame. The public wants to see a Curlin-Big Brown matchup. Big Brown could be running in the Woodward on August the 30th against Curlin, but he's not, so we're not going to get it there. Now it looks like we're not even going to get it in the Breeders' Cup Classic if they don't send Curlin there. That's the real disappointment for racing fans.
Well, the public wants to see it, and you get a sense that trainer Rick Dutrow wants to see it too, because he's calling Curlin out as if it's like a pay-per-view wrestling match here. Listen to what he said after the Haskell.
I mean, Curlin couldn't win the Derby, we could. Curlin couldn't win this race, we could. Curlin got beat to a filly, we haven't. Our horse is undefeated on the grass, Curlin isn't. I don't know why people think Curlin is such a good horse. We're way better than Curlin, and I hope we get a chance. I don't know why they don't go into the Breeders' Cup. Shame on them for not doing that. If they have enough courage to try him on the grass, how can they not try him in a $5 million race where it might determine Horse of the Year? They got to show up. We're going to call him out.
Yeah, I mean, that's calling out somebody. But the comment that gets me, the comment that just throws me off the couch there listening to Dutrow is comparing the grass, saying at least we're undefeated on grass. Big Brown won as a 2-year-old a maiden race at Saratoga on grass compared to what Curlin was up against this summer.
He's just stirring the pot.
Absolutely.
He's stirring the pot. He knows that Curlin is a very, very good horse. Yes, he thinks that Big Brown is a better horse, but I think he also knows in the back of his mind that they're probably not going to run against each other, so nobody's going to find out for sure.
The comment that got me is when he said, Big Brown is way better than Curlin. To me, I don't think they breathe the same air. If you ran them next week against each other, Curlin wins by 3.
We may never see it, but we know that Big Brown is aiming at the Breeders' Cup Classic. From